Good morning all. I have been meaning to send you a tutorial on how to use the OneNote SOPs. So I'm on my phone, which is going to be a bit different to your screen. The reason I'm using this is, one, it's easier, it has a great screen recorder, but secondly, my computer shows differently to yours. So please look at your screens and compare it to this. Now, what you're going to find is on your screen, you will have something called a notebook list. And one of the notebooks says ResDes SOPs _training. Click on that if it's not already open, and you will get to what are called the chapters. And this is then in alphabetical order the different chapters that you need to be looking at. Now, you can use this to look at things. So for instance, I was asked about the subject line and said, I can't find the subject line. What I did was I had a look at what my options were, and I thought, let's try H communication. So when I click on H communication, it opens up pages, and those are also numbered H1 to H8. And I'm looking there and I'm saying, H1, email subject line format. That looks like what I'm looking for. And when I open that, there is a note, and right at the bottom it also says what we're still looking for. And you can please look at that, and if you have an opinion, put it into the SOP chats to say, based on this pending information, this is what I suggest and why. Now this is the subject line rules, and there's an example, and there's the one out there starting with a hope reference. Now, when you do your subjects on your emails, follow this. If you're saying, but hold on, there's a problem, there's something that doesn't work, you then check with your team members, check with your team leader, and then put something out on the SOPs to say, based on the SOP, and this is the version 2, these are the problems. Please, what do you think we should do? This is my suggestion, but these are the problems. And then people can comment on that, and we can get a better version of the SOP. But this is where we are now, and this is how you would find it, by going through your pages, going through your chapters of the SOP. However, let me see whether I can do it here. There is a way to, and let me see whether, yes, I'm just moving my video recording notes. Up at the top somewhere, now on the screen normally you've got a search, and you might have two searches. One is for the whole of OneNote, and one is for this section or chapter. So, no, that's send feedback to me. There it is, my little search. Now, if I put in subject, it'll give me everything to do with subjects, and it'll start with the ones that actually have the word subject in the name. And the very first one is H1, email subject line format, which sounds good. And when I go to it, I go there. So that's a second way to search. You can either go through logically from your notebook to chapters to pages, or you can even go within this, because as you can see, if you look down, the word subject is highlighted a few times. If, for instance, so let's go back, one of the problems can be that if I go to subject, in this instance it didn't give me a huge amount, but for proper search you could put it in double doikies and say email, double doikies again, and then say email subject, and see what it comes up with. Now it's saying nothing found. We've got too specific. If I say just subject, without the doikies, it doesn't like it either. Now I'm just wondering if I'm online enough, because we found it before. But what I'm trying to show you is sometimes you've got a word that is too commonly used, and you'll need to put in a phrase. Now normally you put that phrase in doikie or double doikies. Just work out which one works for you. But if I go to rate requests, I'm trying to think of one we found the other day. payment would be a word that comes up, and you need to then specify what you're wanting to talk about with the payment. You could just come to your chapters and go to proof of payment and see what it tells you, or you could go to search and say, you see, now there's a whole lot of subject. I think I wasn't online properly. Let's try payment. Because if I type in payment, it's giving me some of my other things that you don't have access to. But here we've only got proof of payment, so that's great. But you might find as you're searching more, there's a whole lot underneath. Hope payments, payment rules, credit card payments. Now that might be an interesting one. Let's see whether we can put in credit card payment. Now that one came up as it was, which is great. It also gave me, though, payment policies. And say you had a huge amount of information, like you can see I've got a whole lot of things that are coming up. I can then specify and say, no, I only want the one to do with credit card payments, nothing else. Let's see whether it'll come up. Yeah, there we go. It's only given me that one. And it's given me A7, which is the process overview. Because if you go to process overviews, it gives you a shortened version of it so that you can see what you're trying to achieve rather than going step by step, but getting an idea in your head. And this is about being too close to something, is that you lose sight of what you're actually aiming at. So let's go all the way to the top, A7, let's see what the book A7 is about. A, framework, there we go. So A7, process overview guides. But A has all sorts of things that you need to look at, like best practice principles. This is the one where I asked you the 6 questions. Reading and understand emails, prioritizing your workloads. This is all about doing good work. So for each email you answer, you need to do good work about it. And you could follow the procedure. But if you haven't read A, you might lose out on some quality steps that are important. So, to summarize, we are trying to find ways to share the standard operating procedures. And here they are. This is our second version. I've chosen to put it onto OneNote because of the incredible search. So you could either search logically from sections to pages, and even the sections go back into what it says here, Resdes SOPs training, the green one. Then you go to chapters, and each chapter you've got pages, and on each page you've got information. So you can follow it through that way, looking for something, or you use the little magnifying glass to find it. If there's too many of what you're looking for, you can then put it in Doikies and it will find it for you. Those were single Doikies that found only what you were looking for, and it helps you to look. What I want you to do, please, start with Note, start here, how to use this book. Then I'm going to go to Framework and have a look at the quality standards, that sort of thing, that you need to read. The rest from B to M is when you need it. Use it to answer questions for yourself. But what I would like you to do is initially, for a lot of your emails, come back and see what SOP actually says, because you might be doing something that is no longer standard. And it's an old way of doing it. You're saying, but we've always done it. Remember, the whole process of looking at SOPs, training, is because we want to improve. And improvement means change. So please be careful of saying, but I've always done it that way. Rather go and search. So please start with A and B, read those. Then use the rest to improve what you're doing to bring it up to standard. This is now a requirement, and you need to be doing it. So good luck, but ask for any questions. Have a great day. Bye.